How's this outfit? How about this? Now this shirt, yeah, I like. I don't know, I don't want to ruin it. If you couldn't tell, I'm going through some changes. Doesn't mean I'll actually change though. Or does it? Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are talking about the new Justin Bieber album, Changes. Child star, now adult Justin Bieber hails from Stratford, Ontario. The guy has been on a break since 2015 after canceling a part of his world tour for his record Purpose, which, as tepid as most critics get with that album, I can admit I actually enjoyed it a lot. It was one of the better pop albums of that year, and it had Justin's creative and collaborative power on full display with people like Ed Sheeran, Skrillex, and Halsey. Plus, I'm not sorry, but Sorry is a jam, okay? Anyways, at the time of Purpose's release, the big deal or hubbub was about Justin exploring faith and what it meant to him, as it kind of guided a somewhat lost soul as he was breaking up and getting back together with Selena Gomez, egging people's houses, having no shortage of media attention while simultaneously trying to establish adulthood. And yeah, Justin was having a tough go with that. And this time round on Changes, it's been announced to the public that Justin has had even more personal struggles, confirming that he has Lyme disease. This announcement came as part of a new YouTube documentary series entitled Seasons, which was conveniently rolled out as a means of promoting this album. I watched a few of the videos, and it was a nice insight to the personal aspects of Justin's life. And of course, not everything in Justin Bieber's life is in shambles. He's had a fair amount of positive changes, such as marrying Hailey Baldwin. She certainly had the biggest amount of influence, at least as a form of inspiration or being Justin's muse on this record. Then we have Justin's usual production team along for the ride with Pooh Bear and Josh Goodwin. Now, musically on Changes, Justin is embarking on an R&B heavy sound, and yes, that's what he set out to do and is setting out to make, kind of like a follow-up to Journals. But noticeably, Hailey's music taste is what has shaped a good portion of this record too. Hence why this record talks about love as much as it does. There's no surprise why it came out on Valentine's Day. Hailey is the center of Justin's universe, and with that heavy focus, this album gets old pretty fast. Between certain topics being brought up repeatedly and some lyrics just sounding flat out manipulative or desperate, I can't get on board with this album because, frankly, it bores me. In other words, this album fails to keep me interested, as its biggest pitfall might just be the lack of effort in performance, which is a shame because in the documentary series that Justin filmed, you can see him taking multiple cuts of the same vocal lines. Don't get me wrong, this guy is passionate when it comes to singing in the studio, and he is trying to perfect something here, but when it comes to the final result on this record, it's just a guy sounding like he's on autopilot. The lead single, Yummy, I was dreading to talk about this song on camera because I hated it when it first came out, and now I can actually tolerate it, which I can't say the same for the new Florida Georgia Line country remix that has recently come out, and it is so god-awful I want to rip my eyes out of their sockets. Anyways, the melody, even on the original, is ridiculous yet catchy. I just can't see Justin writing anything of note on this song, though. There's not much originality going for it. The beat is pretty generic, and it is behind the curve with innovation, which for someone of Justin's status in pop music, it's quite disappointing to hear him stagnate on a track like this, especially with it being his big return, his first single in I don't know how many years. Now, when Justin's unable to write catchy hooks, which I will give him credit, Yummy has a catchy hook, but when he's not doing that though, he's sadly just offering us forgettable fluff, such as on the title track and Confirmation, two of the most forgettable songs on the album that are guitar and piano led respectively, with Justin searching for some kind of melody, and instead of finding some catchy idea, JB spends his time crooning in the nasally timbre, which ends up not being my cup of tea. not much of a surprise to me just because I don't like nasally timbre. I mean, it's better than him saying, ha ha ha, you get me, over and over again, but I digress. Moving on from there, quite quickly on this record, you'll notice a general update over its predecessor, replacing the heavy EDM beats with trap beats, as Justin realizes that it is 2020 and it's no longer cool to have Skrillex on your songs. So what does he do? He switches up his production style and matches it with what is trending in the charts. And yes, this album will most likely rise in the charts, and every song will likely have its own appearance on the charts, but what plagues a good portion of this record is just meh instrumentals that are par for the course, such as on the song Available, which has a skittering beat, another middle-of-the-road type melody. The song Take It Out On Me as well, which just sounds flat out terrible as Justin Bieber struggles to channel a sensual version of Drake over an OVO-style beat. The song also has one of the most revolting melodies on the album too. Come Around Me, yet another terrible cut on this project. We have thin falsettos, annoying vocal melodies, gross lyrics, and a repetitive and boring beat, so plain that it just doesn't switch anything up the entire time, with the exception of the FaceTime sample at the end of the tune. Now, if production wasn't enough of a letdown on some songs, there is a noticeable absence and void of personality in a couple of the features on this record as well. Firstly, Lil Dicky, I don't know why he had to replace Ski Mask the Slump God on the cut Running Over. That was a huge mistake on Justin's part, because the beat on that track is fire. It just deserves someone better than Lil Dicky, creeping on old Instagram photos and asking a girl how she can be so hot and cute at the same time. That's just straight cringe. And yeah, ever since Earth, I just can't take Lil Dicky seriously. Then the other feature I can't side with is by Travis Scott on Second Emotion, which already was a bad song to begin with because of its rehashed vocal deliveries and creative rut that it seems to be stuck in. Justin obviously had to make matters worse and say Liddy for a second time on the record. I'll touch more on the terrible lyrics afterwards, but Travis Scott, he fails to show up on this track. By the time that he finishes, you won't even notice that he was there. So yeah, now going back to those lyrics, that is another glaring issue I have with this record. The song E.T.A, musically, middle of the road. Lyrically is exemplifying this point though. Time after time, Justin is just desperately wanting to know where his wife is, even if it's just like 5 minutes down the road, as he asks on E.T.A. And yeah, for the rest of this record, I feel like Justin is just showing off all his insecurities, or he just comes across as very patronizing, which has me worried for the kind of love that Justin is specifically speaking about. Now, not everything is a lost cause on Changes, though, even if it is pretty spotty for its production, lyrics, and lifeless features. There are a handful of cuts that I can vibe with, 5 exactly to be specific. The intro cut, All Around Me, has a very passionate vocal performance, a minimal guitar instrumental layering that one, and I gotta give it to JB. He comes through with another compelling intro song, just like he did on Purpose. Then there's the second song, Habitual, which was previewed on the documentary series. It was Justin's predicted big hit, as he just fell in love with it the first time he heard it, which isn't very common with him, I guess. And even though I didn't instantly fall in love with it, it has grown on me. It's one of my favorite songs on the project. We have this nice, soft and sensual delivery from Justin over top of an erotic and slinky R&B trap fusing of a beat. My favorite song on the entire project, though, has to be Intentions. This one features Quavo. I just love the happy and bouncy beat. I like the reference to the Toronto Raptors and their ring, and I admire the genuinely nice compliments that Justin is making towards Haley on this track. Another bouncy and bright beat is paired up with a pretty catchy chorus on Forever, which features Post Malone and Clever. I like the lyrical focus of challenging your lover to stay with you, and I think the additions of Post Malone and even Clever go over fairly well. And then on the back half of this record, which is the worst side of the record in my opinion, there is a song I do like. It's called That's What Love Is. We have a slick and well-performed guitar performance on this one. It's one of the sweeter love songs that isn't too patronizing. So yeah, with those most recent 5 songs I mentioned, what they execute and do well on this record, yeah, they unfortunately can't make it an overall positive experience because there are too many other songs on here. I counted 12 others that just either repulse me or are forgettable, which for a pop record, you don't want to be coming back to the titles of songs and thinking like, how does that one go again? Changes finally limps across the finish line with the track, at least for now, which is the true end to the album for any sane person who doesn't want to hear Yummy a second time. Also, at least for now, is kind of an ironic title for the penultimate song because, yeah, this record doesn't know when to end. If I could make it stop after the Lil Dicky feature, I would make it end there. Yeah, Changes relentlessly goes downhill after the midway point, and it just beats you with one melodramatic R&B song after another. I honestly thought the title track would have been a nice way to end this, but hey, it's Justin Bieber after all. It's a big return for him. Just the ordering of the tracks on here make me feel like he's more concerned with the number of streams he'd get because there's no need for 17 songs to be on here. Case in point with Yummy being featured twice. And no, that song isn't like Old Town Road. You just can't keep releasing new versions of it expecting people to like it or to be able to push it to a #1 record because it hasn't even hit #1 yet, even once. If you couldn't tell, my review has now officially come full circle with Yummy, just like Justin did, which means it's time for me to wrap up my thoughts on this record as a whole. And yeah, if it wasn't obvious, I don't like this record, which it frustrates me because the documentary had me empathizing with Justin personally. Sadly, I just wish I could empathize with his musical output a bit more on Changes because it feels like a flop to me. And as for me personally, I'll keep bumping tunes from Purpose. Just, yeah, I'm another guy here hopping on the hate train for this new record from Justin. Not to just be another guy jumping on the hate train, but yeah, Changes is pretty bad. Nothing much to dance to. The R&B is just lacking a lot of personality compared to Justin's contemporaries, and there are just way too many songs on here that are in one ear, out the other. Above all else, this is a record that is flashy for its name. This album lives and dies by its name. I feel like a lot of people are just gonna hype it up because it has Justin Bieber written on it. Yeah, it's not going to cut it with me, though, as you'll see with my disappointing rating of 3 out of 10. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the new Justin Bieber record, Changes. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of this record. I can't imagine too many people seeing this as album of the year. My God, could those words be uttered in the same sentence with Justin Bieber? I don't know. Not to rip him completely apart though, there are 5 songs on here I do like. It's just overall as an album experience, no thanks. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you like today's video, subscribe if you're new in town, and yeah, have a rockin' day.